Part 98. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 971. Chapter 971, Will President Mo mind? Hello, madam, may I ask you? The front desk lady asked politely as usual. Before they could finish asking, Chiao Mian reached out and took off her mask, curled her lips and said with a smile, I'm looking for Mo Yesi. Is he in the company? Several front desk ladies were stunned for a moment when they saw it was her, and then they immediately said politely, Miss Chiao, Mr. Mo is here. Do you need us to take you up? These front desk ladies have met Chiao Mian before and they all still remember her. The attitude towards her, Mr. Mo's girlfriend, was very polite. Mr. Mo personally gave the order. But whenever Miss Chiao comes to see him, she doesn't need any appointment or notification, she just goes up directly. No need, I can just go up by myself. After Chiao Mian finished speaking, she put on the mask again, turned around and walked towards the elevator. The ladies at the front desk waited until she had gone a little further, then gathered together and whispered, Do you think Miss Chiao looks like a special person? Yeah, I think so too. Is she the same person as the actress who had a scandal with Tuyuli? They look exactly the same and have the same last name, so they should be the same person. But, I just saw the new trending search on Weibo. Didn't it say that she is the young lover of the crown prince of the Gong family? Why are you following our Mr. Mo? Wow, it's so exciting. Mr. Mo and the crown prince of the Gong family are good friends. Is this a love triangle? This woman is too powerful. The two most powerful men in Yunchinj and the best conditions are both in love with her. How on earth did she achieve this ambiguous relationship? It's actually very simple. If you have a face as good looking as hers, you can do it too. She is indeed quite beautiful, her facial features are very delicate, and her skin is very white and tender. She looks like a dummy. Tell me, has she had plastic surgery? If not, it would be too unnatural to look like that. It should have been plastic surgery. Otherwise, the proportions of the facial features cannot be so perfect. But even if it is plastic surgery, not everyone can look like that. She must have a good foundation, that's why she can look so good. Tell me, has Mr. Mo seen the scandal between her and the crown prince of the Gong family? If so, will Mr. Mo mind? As a possessive person like Mr. Mo, we should probably mind. Asterisk. The president's office is upstairs. Mo Yesi, who was being discussed by his female employees, had just finished reading the scandal between Chiao Mian and Gong Zili, and exited Weibo with a gloomy expression. As soon as I logged out of Weibo, my phone rang. He lowered his head and saw that it was Gong Zili who was calling, and his already ugly face became gloomier. After the call was connected, Gong Zili explained the scandal directly to him. ACI, I don't know if you have seen the scandals uploaded on Weibo. I don't know why it became a hot search and was also mentioned by others. If you are concerned about those scandals, I can issue a statement to clarify them. Mo Yesi had a dark face and a bad tone. No need. I know better than anyone what your relationship is with her, and what should I be concerned about. You really don't mind. Miyazawa didn't seem to believe it. Why don't you sound different to me? I think it is necessary to make a statement, otherwise it will not be good for people to misunderstand my relationship with Mian. Mo Yesi tightened his fingers on the phone, and his expression suddenly changed. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 972. Chapter 972. Since you married me, I am your sister-in-law. There was a hint of coldness in his eyes, and his tone did not feel any colder. There was a strange feeling coming from the bottom of his heart. What did you call her just now? On the other side, Gong Zili suddenly fell silent. After a while, he said, I had some misunderstandings about her before, so my attitude towards her was very unfriendly. Now that you know you misunderstood her, you call her so intimately? Gongzili, is this the reason why you changed your name to call her so intimately? Moyesi said what he had not finished in a cold voice. Gongzili. His silence made Moyesi's face look even uglier, and the expression on his face became more and more gloomy. He finally knew what the strange feeling he had just now was. Gongzili's previous attitude towards Xiao Mian was very clear to him. But just now, he actually used such an intimate title. It may be normal for this title to be used on others, and he won't think much about it. But this person is Gongzili. Even though he was not the one who knew Gongzili best, he could feel that something was wrong. Moyesi thought about it, and his face became more and more gloomy. Fourth, are you really? No. No, Gongzili quickly denied it before he could say the next words. ACI, don't think about it. I still know the basic principles of life. That is your woman, I don't. There may be other ideas. If you mind that title, I won't call it that again in the future. Moyesi's expression was still not much better. He pursed his lips and remained silent. How could he not think randomly? Precisely because he knew Gongzili as a person, he had to think more. Si, are you angry? Gongzili was silent for a while, and then hesitantly said, you can't really misunderstand, right? Fourth, you just know the basic principles of life. After a moment of silence, Moyesi said in a cold voice, it's best to have a misunderstanding. If not, I can't guarantee what I will do when the time comes. She is my bottom line, no one can touch it. Gongzili was silent for a while, and when he spoke again, his voice was a little softer. ACI, don't be too nervous. I just think that since it was a misunderstanding before, there is no need to make everyone look like enemies in the future. The previous address was because I was careless and didn't pay much attention. I didn't expect you to mind so much. Well, I mind. Moyesi suppressed the anger that almost burst out and said coldly, from now on, you can just call her the same as Yan Er. Although she is younger than you both, since she is married, I am your sister-in-law. This time, Gongzili made no sound. Moyesi pursed his lips and did not make a sound, but the coldness in his eyes became more and more intense. The invisible smell of gunpowder smoke filled the air. At this moment, there was a sudden knock on the door. ACI, please go ahead and do your business. I won't disturb you anymore. After a long silence, Gongzili finally spoke up. After speaking, he hung up the phone. Hearing the disconnection sound coming from his cell phone, Moyesi threw the cell phone down on the desk with a bang. He said to the person outside the door with a livid face, come in. After the words fell, the office door was slowly pushed open. A soft and sweet voice sounded, and said with a hint of playfulness, Mr. Mo, I made you coffee. I don't know what flavor you like, so I made a cup according to my own taste. You don't want to try it and see how it tastes? End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 973. Chapter 973. Did I disturb Mr. Mo? Moyesi was stunned and raised his head in surprise. When he saw Xiao Mian walking in with a cup of coffee and talking to him with a smile, he was stunned for a few seconds and said in surprise, Mian, why is it you? Why, you're not welcome. Xiao Mian walked to the desk, put the coffee on his desk, tilted her head and said with a smile, am I disturbing Mr. Mo? Moyesi. The man half squinted his deep, dark eyes and stared at her for a while before confirming that the girl in front of him was not his hallucination. He stood up immediately, stretched out his hand and pulled her into his arms, put his big hand on top of her head and touched her, with obvious surprise in his deep magnetic voice, "Why didn't you tell me in advance? When did you arrive?" Chiao Mian leaned against his chest, playing with a button on his shirt, and said with a sweet smile, "I want to give you a surprise. I came over right after I got off the plane. How about it, are you happy?" Happy? Mo. Yesi tightened his arms, hugged the soft and sweet little person in his arms, couldn't help but lowered his head and kissed her fair and smooth forehead, and said softly, "Aren't you leaving today?" "Well, I'm not leaving, I'll go back to City F tomorrow." "Okay, I'll go back with you tomorrow. What do you want to eat tonight, and have you thought about where to go? I'll get off work early today to accompany you." The girl has a sweet fragrance. There is also a pleasant light fragrance in the hair. The whole person is like a peach exuding a sweet smell, which makes people have the urge to eat her up. Mo. Yesi lowered his eyes, his deep gaze fell on the delicate and white face of the girl in his arms. Looking at the girl in his arms, who was as beautiful as an elf, his eyes darkened as he thought of the phone call he just hung up. Shen, there was a hint of coldness in his eyes. He should have known. His baby is so good, it is only a matter of time that people will take notice of it. He is so deeply in love with and obsessed with a woman, how could other people not care about her at all? But everyone else has normal thoughts. He is not too angry or too concerned. If the person who is thinking about it is his good brother, the nature will be completely different. What's more, he knows Gong Zili. The two of them are equally possessive in many aspects. They are all equally paranoid. When you fall in love with someone, it is very likely that you will last a lifetime. What he couldn't understand was that the person Miyazawa likes and belonged to was not Shenro. Why now? Based on his understanding of Gong Zili, he shouldn't be such a changeable person. But Gong Zili's various previous performances showed that he did have a problem. At this time, Mo. Yesi hoped that he was overthinking. But he still knew very well whether he had thought too much or not. His judgment has never been wrong. This time, it's the same. At night. Chiao Mian raised her head from his chest and looked at him with apologetic eyes. "Well, I already have an appointment tonight, so I might not be able to have dinner with you." Mo. Yesi frowned, dissatisfied. "You already have an appointment?" Chiao Mian blinked guiltily. Yes. "Who have you made an appointment with?" "Zhang Luli." Speaking of this name, the dissatisfaction on the man's face increased, and his tone became a little sour. In his wife's heart, he is not as good as her best friend. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 974. Chapter 974. From now on, can you always call me that? Every time she came back, she would go to Zhang Luli immediately. As her husband, he was thrown aside by her. It doesn't matter that his ranking in her heart is not as high as Chiao Chen's, now he can't even compare to her best friend. No. Chiao Mian saw the dissatisfaction in the man's eyes, and immediately put her arm around his neck and said coquettishly to him, "We have some work matters to discuss. I made an appointment with Sister Xie to have dinner together in the evening. Don't be angry. Wait until I finish eating, and spend the rest of the time with you, okay?" Mo. Yesi still had a straight face. What work matter is so important that it has to be discussed today or in person? I thought she flew back to Yunchinj to give him a surprise. Now he suddenly realized that he had thought too much. Mo. Yesi's heart was not to mention how congested it was. It feels like he is being too sentimental. Chiao Mian thought for a while and decided not to tell him about the termination of the contract for the time being. She only signed the contract a few days ago, and the contract was terminated so soon. She didn't have the shame to say this in front of Mo. Yesi. I always feel too embarrassed. She is probably the artist in the industry who has the shortest time from contract signing to termination. Originally, she wanted to show off in front of Mo. Yesi and prove her ability to him. It would be too shameful for her to let him know that she was terminated by the company so soon. Chiao Mian hesitated and lied, "It's just some things about later development. I couldn't explain it clearly on the phone for a while, so we need to talk in detail in person." So, after hearing her explanation, Moyesi felt a little less depressed, but his expression was still not good, and there was no smile on his face. "Can't we change the time? Do we have to talk today?" He had already thought about how to arrange their wonderful date tonight. She suddenly told him that she had an appointment, and he was more or less disappointed. It probably won't work." Chiao Mian raised her eyes and glanced at the man's handsome face, which was still calm. She bit the corner of her lip and hesitated. She felt that her coquettishness just now wasn't enough, so she stood up on tiptoes and quickly kissed his lips. "Hit him. Husband, I know you are the most considerate." She knew what Moyesi liked to hear her call him the most. As soon as she said softly "husband," she saw the man's expression softening instantly. Seeing that this trick worked, a smile of success flashed in her eyes, and she continued, "Husband, I will try to eat as little as possible and keep my stomach empty. After I finish eating with her, we will have dinner together, okay?" "Okay. But if you don't want to wait for me, then forget it." The voice of the girl in my arms was soft and sweet. The sounds of "husband" she called out when she was acting coquettishly were charming but not sweet. Coupled with the shy expression on her face, at that moment, Moyesi felt as if all the bones in his body were falling apart. Having a feeling of being in a state of ecstasy. He couldn't help but breathe faster, and the arms around her slender waist couldn't help but tighten. When he spoke, his voice became a little hoarse. "Baby, I like to hear you call me husband. From now on, you will always call me that, okay?" "Good." Of course Chiao Mian knew that he liked it. Every time she called him that, he would act very excited. But she rarely calls him that. Although the two were originally married and there was nothing wrong with her calling him that, she always felt a little embarrassed. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 975. Chapter 975 And Mo, do you mean ACI? As soon as she calls him husband, her face will get hot and she will blush. Although this person was originally her husband. "Are you not angry anymore?" Chiao Mian tilted her head and looked at him. Her dark eyes seemed to be covered with a layer of mist, and her brows looked cute and cute. Moyesi couldn't help but curled his lips. How can he still be angry? She almost ate him to death. She is a clever girl and knows what method works best for him. But even if he knew that she was deliberately playing tricks, he still willingly took the bait. Who asked her to lay the bait that he liked? God knows, once she calls him husband, no matter what kind of request she makes of him, he can't resist. "Well, honey, if you call me twice more, I won't be angry anymore." The man was a little pushy. Chiao Mian was coaxing him now and responded to his requests. She immediately shouted obediently twice, "Husband, husband." Right now, she just wants to coax this man. As soon as these two words of husband were called out, the face of the man who had a calm face before suddenly turned gloomy, and a little smile appeared in his eyes. The gloom in the corners of his brows and eyes disappeared instantly. This change of face was so fast that even Chiao Mian was amazed. "Okay, then you go early in the evening and don't eat too much then. After you finish talking, I will take you to eat something delicious." Not only did the man's face turn gloomy, he even became more talkable. I was extremely dissatisfied with this matter before, but now I can agree to her with a smile. Chiao Mian's inner mood at this moment. Sure enough, women who act coquettishly have the best life. She found that the trick of acting like a spoiled child was really useful. Whether it's when she begs Moyesi or when she's coaxing him, it's especially useful. Moreover, it works with every try. It seems that she will have to act coquettishly towards Mo Yessi in the future. Wow, hubby, you are so kind. After discovering that coquettishness was very useful and Mo Yessi liked it, Chiao Mian thought about continuing her coquettishness to the end. She hugged the man's neck and pressed him down slightly. Head, stood up on tiptoes and kissed his handsome face again. The cry of husband sounded even more coquettish and soft than before. She kissed him briefly and then wanted to pull away. As soon as he made a move to evacuate, the man pinched his chin. Asterisk. A high-end coffee shop with high-end decoration. A lady dressed elegantly walked into the coffee shop. The waiter immediately came forward and said in a very respectful manner, "MRSMO, Miss Shen has arrived. This noble lady is MRSMO." She made an appointment with Shenro to meet at this coffee shop. Shenro called her to make an appointment for this meeting. MRSMO is a regular customer of this coffee shop. All the employees here know her and greet her one after another when they see her. No one dares to neglect her. The waiter respectfully led MRSMO to the private room that Shenro had reserved. Arrived outside the private room, the waiter reached out and knocked on the door, and said respectfully into the room, "Miss Shen, MRSMO is here." The sound of high heels on the ground was heard. Soon, the door opened. When Shenro saw MRSMO standing outside, she immediately called out affectionately, "Aunt Mo." MRSMO saw her with a loving smile on her face. "Rura, when did you arrive? Have you been waiting for a long time?" "No, I just arrived a while ago. Besides, if you are waiting for Aunt Mo, I am willing to wait as long as you want. Aunt Mo, I have already ordered the coffee you like to drink, come in quickly." Shenro stepped forward and took MRSMO's arm into the box. The two of them sat down next to each other affectionately, like a mother and daughter with a close relationship. Shenro held MRSMO's arm and said in a soft voice, "Aunt Mo, originally I wanted to go to Mo's house to accompany you. But I heard they said that Aunt Mo, you haven't been out for several days, so I wanted to make an appointment. You chat outside. Aunt Mo, I heard from Aunt Zhang that you are not in a good mood these days. Who has offended you? Tell me and I will help you find that person to settle the score." MRSMO originally had a smile on her face, but after hearing her words, the smile on her face disappeared instantly. Shenro naturally knew what was going on. She has an informant in the Mo family. So I already knew clearly the reason why MRSMO was unhappy. But she couldn't let MRSMO know about this. She pretended to be flustered and immediately apologized to MRSMO, "I'm sorry, Aunt Mo, did I say something I shouldn't have said and made you unhappy?" "It has nothing to do with you." MRSMO treated Shenro like a daughter. She held her hand, patted the back of her hand gently, and sighed, "Rura, you are so good, how could you make me angry? It's the unfilial son I gave birth to, and he doesn't take me as a mother seriously anymore." "Aunt Mo, are you talking about ASI?" Shenro pretended to be surprised. "ASI is the most filial to you and the most obedient to you. How could he make you angry?" MRSMO smiled coldly, "He used to be filial and listen to me. Now he doesn't take me seriously." "Aunt Mo, what's going on?" Shenro looked anxious. "Tell me, maybe I can help you analyze it." End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 976. Chapter 976, Provoking a Relationship Between Me and MRSACI. Don't be angry yet, you know best what kind of person ACI is. If he you off, I'm sure there's a reason. MRSMO was silent for a while with a cold face, then let out a long sigh and said with a bit of gritted teeth, "It's not because of that woman. I just asked him to ask Xiaomi and Mian to quit the entertainment industry, so I got angry with me. Am I still doing something wrong? What kind of place is the entertainment industry? How can you, as the young lady of the Mo family, be a lowly actor? Fortunately, no one knows their relationship now. If anyone knows in the future that the second young lady of the Mo family is actually an actor, how embarrassing is it for us? But in order to protect that woman, he didn't even take me seriously. Do you think raising such a son was in vain? I worked hard to raise him, and now he can't compare to an outsider. No wonder people say they forget their mother when they have a daughter-in-law. Forget it, even the old lady is on that woman's side. I don't know why the old lady likes her so much. What she hates most is the actors in the entertainment industry. But now her grandson-in-law is in this profession, she actually said that since our Mo family is protecting her, since that woman wants to act, let her act. At this point, Mo seemed very angry, and her chest was heaving violently. It's okay that her son was deceived by that little vixen. Even the old lady, a shrewd and sensible person, turned towards that little vixen. Everyone is on the same side as that little vixen. She now feels that she is alone and has no one to help her. In the entire Mo family, she seemed like an outsider. Mo had been feeling uncomfortable for several days, and she had been holding a breath in her heart. Now that she saw Shenro, she couldn't help but confide in her. Now, only the daughter of the Shen family can stand on the same side as her. The old lady is facing her, and Si is also facing her. Shi Xiu also said that it is their own business and asked me to leave it alone. Rura, do you still have a place for me in this family? How long ago did she get married? That's why so many people turn to her. If she stays in the Mo family for a long time, won't I have no place in the family in the future? Mo became angrier as she spoke, with an angry look on her face. Shenro pretended to listen patiently. She waited for Mo to finish complaining, and then began to persuade her empathetically, "And Mo, please calm down first. I heard so much from you just now, and I probably know what happened. It's happened. If things are really what Aunt Mo said, I don't think Si is to blame, nor is the old lady to blame. I can only say that Xiao Mian is a very smart girl, and her skills are very comparable to others. That's why she can coax both the old lady and ACI to like her so much." Smart, Mo sneered, "she is called scheming. Her methods are indeed very powerful. After all, I underestimated her, thinking that she was just born in a small family and could not achieve anything big. But who knows, these girls born in small families have unfathomable scheming. You are right, Si and the old lady were just bewitched by her, so they turned to her for everything. Yes. She used various means to drive a wedge between me and MRSACI. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 977. Chapter 977. This move is simply too hateful. Now ACI is dissatisfied with me, and the old lady is also dissatisfied with me. She feels that I am not broad-minded enough to tolerate my own daughter-in-law. However, if my daughter-in-law were you, why would there still be so many problems? Let such a scheming and impure woman be my daughter-in-law. No matter how broad-minded I am, I can't accept such a woman. At this point, MRSMO looked at Shenro with a look of regret and reluctance and said, "Rura, it would be great if you were my daughter-in-law. Now all the conflicts will disappear. What do you think? What's going on with Si? He doesn't like this good girl in front of him, but he likes that one. In addition to a pretty face, what else does that woman have? Rura, you are so outstanding, far superior to her in every aspect, Boyacina must be blind. I watched you two children grow up together. I thought that if our Mo family and your Shen family got married, they would be more intimate in the future. Who knew that a Si would be married to a small family? The woman was so obsessed that she got the marriage certificate without saying a word. This move is so hateful that even if I want to stop it, it's too late. As Mo spoke, her chest rose and fell violently again. Shenro's eyes flashed slightly, and she quickly stretched out her hand to caress her heart a few times, looking worried and anxious. And Mo, please calm down. Don't make yourself so angry for someone who is not worthy of it. Everything is going wrong now. It's a foregone conclusion, it's useless for you to be angry anymore, you might as well. No. After Mo came over in one breath, she grabbed her hand and said excitedly, Rura, as long as you haven't given up on ACI, it's not too late. And Mo said she would help you, but you can't back down now. Ah. Shenro frowned slightly, looking embarrassed, but Aunt Mo, it's not that I want to give up, but it's really impossible for ACI and I. I also thought that as long as I persisted, as long as I didn't give up, he and I might still have a chance. But Shenro's voice suddenly choked up, and her eyes suddenly turned red. She looked sad and said, Aunt Mo, there is something I am hiding from you. I don't dare to tell you. I'm afraid that if I tell Aunt Mo, she won't like me anymore, and you will think that I am a bad girl. To me, Aunt Mo is just like my mother. If one day you don't like me anymore, I will be really, really sad. Mo's eyes suddenly turned red when she saw her. She quickly took out a handkerchief from her bag and wiped her tears anxiously. Rura, what's wrong with you? Don't cry. First tell Aunt Mo what happened. No matter what happens, no matter what, Aunt Mo will not dislike you. Mo really likes Shenro. Because she really wanted to have another daughter. However, due to physical reasons, I have never been able to do so. Shenro has been close to her since she was a child. She is obedient and well behaved in front of her, and behaves in various ways to attract people's love. Even if she does not completely treat her as her own daughter, Mo's love and affection for her are true. She really wanted Shenro to be her daughter-in-law. In her opinion, there is no one more suitable for the position of the second young lady of the Mo family than Shenro. She had always thought that the two families could get married. Until Mo Yesi suddenly brought Jiao Mian home and told them about their marriage. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 978. Chapter 978, Do You, Won't Like Me Anymore? What Mo had been looking forward to for so long suddenly came to nothing. Moreover, she felt that the most outstanding son in the world married a woman from a small family, and the marriage was a flash marriage. How could she accept this? As much as she wanted Shenro to marry Mo Yesi, her dissatisfaction and disgust with Jiao Mian was so deep. If this scheming woman hadn't tricked her son into secretly getting the certificate from her, she would never have let such a woman marry into the Mo family. And Mo, I did something wrong. If I tell you, you will definitely not like me anymore. Shenro shed tears and said sadly with red eyes, and Mo, you know that I have been with you since I was a child. I like ACI very much, and my dream since childhood was to marry him and be his wife. I also always thought that his wife would definitely be me. Later, he suddenly got married. When I learned the news about his marriage, I was really sad and sad. I had insomnia for several days in a row. I couldn't eat anything in those days, and I even felt that there was no point in living. Mo clenched her hand movedly, Rura. Shenro looked at Mo with tears in her eyes, and Mo, I'm so jealous of Mian, and I'm so unwilling to accept it. I've liked ACI for more than 20 years and been by his side for more than 20 years, but he ended up marrying someone else. Woman. I was overwhelmed by jealousy at that time, so I did some irrational things. And Mo. Actually, the scandals about Jiao Mian that you saw some time ago were all exposed by me. I'm really jealous of her. I can't accept her being with ACI. I see her living so well, with ACI caring and pampering her, and I don't want her to have a better time. I think about ACI. If SI saw that she was involved with another man, he would definitely be angry and mind. Could it be that ACI divorced her? Even if they don't get divorced, they may still quarrel over it. Maybe they often quarrel like this, and ACI gets tired of it and divorces her. As Shenro spoke, she covered her face and cried bitterly, "And Mo, am I too despicable and vicious to think like this? I feel so despicable myself, and I don't know how I became the person I hate most. That kind of person. But, I really can't control it. I really can't accept them sincerely and bless them." Mo was stunned, with a look of astonishment on her face. After a while, she said in surprise, "Rura, did you say that the scandals that Jiao Mian caused some time ago were all caused by you?" Shenro cried and nodded. "What happened between her and her ex-boyfriend?" "And Mo, I was indeed the one who exposed that incident. However, I did not spread rumors to frame her. I was also at the scene at the time, and I saw her and her ex-boyfriend having with my own eyes. Those videos were not mine. Someone took the photo, and many people saw it at the scene. Then about her scandal with that actor. That matter has nothing to do with me. I wasn't the one who asked people to release those news." Shenro sobbed for a while, then reached out to wipe the tears from the corners of her eyes filled with tears filled with anxiety and uneasiness. She was afraid and said, "And Mo, do you think I am bad and have turned into a bad girl? Do you, won't like me anymore?" End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 979. Chapter 979. Come with me to the company to find him. Mo frowned and looked at her for a while, then sighed softly. She reached out and touched his head. "How come Aunt Mo doesn't like you?" "It's because you care too much about ACI. Even Aunt Mo can understand." Shenro's eyes were covered with mist, and tears fell out again with a pop sound. "Really," she whimpered and threw herself into Mo's arms, "Aunt Mo, I'm so worried that you don't like me anymore. Do you think I've become bad or a bad girl?" Seeing her crying so hard, Mo hugged her distressedly, patted her back and comforted her warmly. "You're not bad, you just care too much about ACI. As long as ACI can have you, it's his blessing to love him so wholeheartedly. I hope ACI can really divorce her. If they divorce because of those things, and Mo will have to thank you." Shenro looked up from Mo's arms with tears streaming down her face, "And Mo. Good boy, stop crying." Mo stretched out her hand to wipe the tears from the corners of her eyes full of love. "You have worked so hard for ACI, how can Aunt Mo be willing to blame you? Aunt Mo, you are so kind to me. Woo-hoo-hoo." Shenro was moved and buried herself in Mo's arms, hugging her and crying again. "Good child, don't cry." Mo comforted her patiently, not minding that her tears wet the expensive shirt she was wearing. After knowing what Shenro had done, Mo not only did not dislike her, but became even more satisfied with her. How much does this girl like her son that she is forced to do this? "And Mo, you are so kind to me. Rura really wants to be by your side and honor you, but..." Shenro raised her head, her eyes red and swollen from crying. "Although you don't blame me, ACI treated me badly because of those things. I have deep opinions, and I won't be forgiven for anything. He said that I hurt Jiao Mian and he would not forgive me. He and I have, broken off our friendship. After saying this, Shenro seemed to be extremely sad, and she sobbed and cried in Mrs. Mo's arms. He also said that we will be strangers when we meet again. And Mo, I'm really sad. I don't want to be strangers to a Si. I know I was wrong. I will never do anything to hurt Mian again. Can you help me beg him and ask him to give me another chance? I really will never dare to touch Mian again. As long as he can forgive me, I can do anything he wants. Mrs. Mo was surprised. What did you say? You and ACI have broken off your relationship. Yes, Shenro was sobbing, crying until her whole body was shaking. He is the one who wants to break off our relationship with me. And Mo, I'm really sad. Can you help me? I really don't want to be like a Si. Stranger. ACI is such a bastard. Mrs. Mo's face darkened and she said angrily, for such a woman, he actually wanted to break up with you. I think he lost his mind because he was stunned by that woman. Rura, don't worry, and Mo is not. It will make him mess around. You come with me to the company to find him now. I want to see if he can really not even care about the relationship between mother and son for that woman. Shenro was stunned for a moment, with a look of fear on her face, and Mo, End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 980. Chapter 980. Did you buy these clothes for her? Don't be afraid. Mrs. Mo held her hand tightly, pursed her lips, and said with a stern face, as long as I'm with you, and Mo will support you. You don't have to be afraid. Asterisk. Half an hour later. Shenro and Mrs. Mo arrived at the Mo mansion. Shenro held Mrs. Mo's arm and walked into the Mo hall with confidence. As soon as Mrs. Mo appeared, the employees in the lobby looked at her. The employees passing by her stopped and greeted her respectfully. Hello, madam. Mrs. Mo didn't come to Mo's house often. We have only been here 4 or 5 times in the past few years. But all the employees at Mo's family knew her. Sir Mo, yes, he looks like Mrs. Mo. So, Mrs. Mo's appearance is also very high. Staff who have met her once or twice are all very impressed. Those who have never met her can guess from her face that she has a close relationship with Mo Yesi. Most people know Mrs. Mo. But there are only a few people who know Shenro. These employees all knew that their boss Mo already had a girlfriend, but now they saw Mrs. Mo bringing a young and beautiful girl over, and they all guessed about Shenro's identity. Those who knew Shenro's identity couldn't help but have gossip in their eyes when they saw this scene. At this moment, Mr. Mo's girlfriend is still with him. Mrs. Mo brought the eldest daughter of the Shen family over. No matter how she looked at it, she felt like something good was about to happen. The eldest lady of the Shen family came here with Mrs. Mo to demonstrate. And seeing how close Mrs. Mo is to her, the two seem to have a good relationship. One is a girlfriend that Mr. Mo found himself, and the other is a girl that Mr. Mo's mother likes. Who will Mr. Mo choose in the end? Just as Mrs. Mo and Shenro walked into the hall, Wei Zheng also came back after buying clothes. As soon as he walked into the hall with his clothes bag, he felt that the atmosphere was not right. When he looked forward and saw Mrs. Mo coming, his expression suddenly changed, and he immediately stepped forward and called out respectfully, Mrs. Mrs. Mo heard a voice behind her and turned her head. When she saw it was Wei Zheng, she nodded slightly. Is Mr. Mo in the company? Wei Zheng squeezed the bag in his hand tightly, not daring to take a breath. Mr. Mo will be here if I reply to madam. Mrs. Mo nodded again. After asking, she wanted to continue walking forward. Shenro did not take a step forward. Her eyes fell on the clothes bag Wei Zheng was carrying. When she saw that it was a women's clothing brand, her face darkened and she gritted her teeth and asked, Assistant Wei, who are you buying this for, clothing? MRSMO had not noticed this at first. Hearing what she said, he lowered his head and looked over. When he saw Wei Zheng carrying 2 clothes bags, he also asked curiously, "Assistant Wei, did you just come back from buying clothes?" Wei Zheng was stared at by 2 people at the same time. He felt so stressed that he didn't even dare to breathe too hard. He held his breath and nodded, "To Madam and Miss Shen, this is what Mr. Mo asked me to buy." Shenro quickly thought of a possibility. Her already gloomy face became more and more ugly, and her face was so gloomy that it was almost dripping with water. Her teeth bit her lip and left a deep mark. "Is Chiao Mian here? Are you buying these clothes for her, right?" This is not the first time that Wei Zheng has been ordered by Mo Yesi to do this kind of thing. So he knew very well what Mr. Mo and his wife did in the office. End of this chapter.